Alright everyone, here's what we're doing. Today we're taking part in EeeBox by ASUS B202 to remove the wireless card, Wi-Fi card. The one I've got in there now doesn't work with Windows because I put it in there for a different project a while back that needed a very specific card. May or may not have been to do with Hackintoshes. Anyway, needless to say, I need to remove the card, and the card is pretty much the last component of this machine to come out. So if you want to know how to take one of these apart, just watch this video. I'll get there eventually. Another thing I'll be trying today is Final Cut Pro X. I'm going to try editing this video. You might have noticed in my previous video, if you watched it all the way through, that there were some terrible text overlays that came in with different effects to what I normally use in iMovie. I think it's going to be a pretty steep learning curve because iMovie is very basic and terrible, whereas Final Cut is terrible but on a much larger scale. There's a lot more to learn as well. It's not just all drag and drop. You're on a Mac, it's all drag and drop. No, that's not the case. A lot of it's click a button, press import, and then select your file. Not drag and drop, no drag and drop there. Anyway, keep watching. I'm going to pull this apart right now. I'll do a cut, so we know when the intro ends and the next part begins. It'll look exactly the same, but I'll put some sort of cool transition in or something. Maybe a ripple or some waves or some, a star wipe. Star wipe. See if you get my Simpsons reference there. We'll be back. And we're back. Magically some tools have appeared. I've got a size 0 Phillips head, which I'm pretty sure is the correct one. So first step is we'll start with the hard drive, nice and easy to remove. So keep your screws in some sort of order. Oh, the hard drive has 2 screws, not 1. So I think this machine runs it's an Atom. Excuse me, an Atom-based CPU. Well, I'm going to be using this as actually an FTP server for retrojunkie.net. Just a files section of PDFs. What's in my throat? Apart from air. How's that? Pretty much all you do is you remove every screw you can see on the exterior of the case. You also want to remove the wireless antenna. Try not to bounce the machine around if you can help it. So that's all the exterior screws. Now I've got to remember how it comes apart. I'll just look for it. I've got a lot of sort of screwdriver marks in that area, so it's probably a good place to start. So for this I've just got a plastic tool. Just has you can use a flat blade if you want to damage a case like I already have. Doesn't really matter. And then you'll find that it comes up through a series of clips. And my clips are very weak and mostly snapped, so I don't get much resistance. You'll probably get a lot more. But if we have a look, so I just destroyed another one. There's 2 at the front, 2 on the side, and 2 on the other side. Only, 2 of mine are broken. Actually, there might be more missing. But that's it, so put that aside. Next we come up to more of it. Now just ignore the metal plate for the moment. There are 4 screws around the outside. Go ahead and remove those. If you've got a magnetized screwdriver, it makes the job a lot easier. These screws secure on the other side of the housing, I think. It also stops the frame shifting around. You might also need a pair of pliers to get stubborn screws out. Or you could just ignore it and move on to the next one. It's entirely up to you. Of course, the next one does the same thing as well. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, as Meatloaf would say. Or, well, 3 out of 4. Oh, 4 out of 4. Now that loosens up the section around the middle. So what I do is I start with the back bit here, and you sort of have to lift the plastic over. Or do I have to take off the other part? Just trying to remember. Ah, no. You lift it from the front. The audio ports are and stuff. So you lift it over toward you, and that bit just comes off completely. Does this part come off? Yeah, it's got some little tiny clips. So yeah, I'm missing heaps of those as well. So I think there's about 2 on each side. Yeah, there should be 2 there as well, but there's not. Okay. Now we have a metal cage. Remove all the screws you can see. I'm pretty sure you can keep them in one bunch because they're all the same size. There's also screws on the sides. They're quite nice screws, machine screws. Very nice thread, very fine. You could eat these and you wouldn't even notice, they're so smooth. It should separate this. Whoa, there we go, nice and free. And there's some of the innards. This particular model is a P5LDZ EB-DHS revision 1.01G. It's green, which means it probably doesn't have any lead in the solder, so if any flexing of the board will probably just completely destroy things. Go back to this side, there's some screws. Remove them. Yeah, they're the same size. Under this compartment here we have RAM. I've got 2 RAM chips for 2 gigabytes, I think. 667 DDR2 sodium. There's the airport card, the antennas under there. Must be getting close. It's on the other side, more screws going through the main board. It's quite a nice little design, these things. You should be using electrostatic wrist straps and such, because this is my personal computer. I don't really care. If it breaks, so be it. Blow holes in the circuit, as they say. Ethernet already doesn't work on it, which is all the more reason for me to have to use Wi-Fi. Okay, so that comes off going toward the front. And there's a wireless antenna there, so don't rip that up too hard. Be very careful if you are doing the airport card off the connectors. They can break quite easily. So 2 more screws, slightly different to the ones we just removed. And the airport card, which looks like it's out of a, I have no idea, some sort of Mac, has been removed. So now the next step is to get the actual card that I'm putting back in here and get installed. We'll be right back after a star wipe. Is the card, it's Azure Wear. And a 211N, it's pretty nice. AW-NE766, just for my very own future reference. So the main board's nothing spectacular. It's incredible how small that they make the heat sinks these days, because they've always got this copper pipe, runs to the fan to cool. It's very good. It's very good indeed. Now you might be enjoying the background music that I've picked out. While I don't have it playing right now, I haven't chosen it yet, but I can tell, because I know me so well, it's going to be incredible. So leave a comment, just mention how much you like my background music. So reassembling is much the same. You just reverse the path that you took, which I will show you in full, because I might as well. If you want to clean out the fan, you can remove the fan. There's 2 screws come out, fan should lift out, connector there. From memory, there were some screws going through the main board. If you are doing this the first time and you don't sort of take apart computers for a living, it's always good to have a screw map. One way I always like to work is by having all the screws laid out so that the next person, another person could just come along and see where those screws go. And that way, if you forget or get distracted, like I did with my Sophia for weeks on end, you will remember not to panic, but to have a good time and put those screws in. It'll also interest people to know who might be watching this accidentally instead of my Sophia related videos, that I do have I did manage to find the last missing screw. It was sitting under a fork in my kitchen. That's what I get for having my Sophia in 1,000 pieces scattered throughout my life. She's a good machine. Okay, so that's those, and then we had this other metal bit. Is not the correct way. That's much better. You can usually tell when you're doing something wrong because it won't work. It's another rule to go by. If you're doing it wrong, stop it. This is going to be interesting to edit on Final Cut. I'm only using a Core 2 Duo. If anyone wants to donate me money for a new camera, I would not turn down, say, $1,000. Wait, I say new camera? I mean new computer, and you have to give me a bit more than that. Jeez, 1,000 doesn't go very far these days. I'm just kidding. All not for profit here, except for those ads you might see at the beginning. Make sure you click those. Apparently I'll get revenue one day. A Google check. Looking forward to it. Google check. And now we're up to just putting the pretty casing on. Some dust there, so that would be where a fan is. Which means this part actually comes from this side. No. This from this side. No. Maybe it goes around this way. Yeah. Oh, the dust is from the intake, not the exhaust. Then we're up to good old framey. So you want the part with the DVI port to go on first. Lift this in and over. Headphone and microphone jack. Should be getting a little bit more together. And those 4 screws around the outer plastic securing it to the other plastic and going through the, that's not the right screw, going through the frame. And remember, when tightening screws, never under tighten. I know people are quite iffy about over tightening, but you don't want a screw rattling loose and shorting out something. I've seen it happen too many times. People are just worried. So don't worry, be happy. Just goes in here. Right, just goes in there. Perfect. You can also use a Visa mount with these things. Mount them to the back of your screen. I had that done, but fortunately it doesn't need a screen. It's just going to run as a headless server. And if it's still got stability issues, I'm in trouble. So I did notice that my server went offline a few times. Unexpectedly, but that might be to do, where do these screws go? Oh, they're the hard drives. Okay, that's cool. And that's how you do it. That's how you change your airport card. So thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. Oh, it's on autofocus. Where's the switch? Ah, it's an Atom N270. There you go. And that is how you make your EeeBox have a new airport card. Wireless card, not airport. It's not airport, it's wireless. Wi-Fi card, 802.11n. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment, subscribe. What else can you do? Just have a good time, I suppose. RetroJunkie.net for more. Actually, there won't be anything like this on RetroJunkie.net, but do check out the FTP server if it goes live. There's a tab up the top that says FTP. Just go there for the details. Dankeschön.